Imagine a shadow lurking within the very heart of the French Revolution, a whisper of poison among the cries for liberty. This isn't about guillotines or an angry mob, it's about a venomous secret society, far more sinister than any public enemy. The year is 1791. Paris pulses with a dangerous energy, a city pregnant with change, fear, and blood. The Bastille has fallen. The king and queen, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, are virtually prisoners in their own palace, the Tuileries. Across the city, in dimly lit rooms and behind velvet curtains, a different kind of revolution is brewing. Not one of public decree or roaring crowds, but of hushed oaths and hidden agendas. We're talking about the Society of the Friends of the Constitution, better known as the Jacobin Club, a name synonymous with radicalism. But within this notorious club, a smaller, darker conspiracy was taking root, a cult of personality, an order of assassins, ready to reshape France not with philosophical debates, but with daggers and silent nods. This is the tale of the Société des Amis Réunis, the Society of United Friends, and their charismatic, terrifying leader. Their grand architect, a man whose name still sends shivers down the spines of certain historians, was François Chabot. A former Capuchin friar turned radical Jacobin deputy, Chabot possessed a mesmerizing oratorical power and an almost hypnotic influence over his followers. But behind his public persona of revolutionary fervor, he harbored an ambition that reached beyond mere politics. He envisioned a society within a society, a clandestine brotherhood dedicated to a brutal purification of France. The Société des Amis Réunis wasn't just a political faction, it was a deeply secretive, quasi-Masonic order, complete with strange rituals, symbolic daggers, and cryptic oaths sworn under the pale glow of candlelight. Members, often young, zealous Jacobins, were initiated into various grades, each step revealing more of Chabot's chilling vision for a new, absolute republic forged in fear and unquestioning loyalty. Whispers began to circulate of their true purpose, not merely to influence the convention, but to eliminate rivals, plant disinformation, and ultimately, seize control through terror. Their grip tightened, their tendrils reaching into committees and councils, preparing to strike at anyone deemed an enemy of their extremist interpretation of revolution. The chosen strike came during the volatile summer of 1793. The Girondins, a more moderate faction within the National Convention, stood as the primary obstacle to the Jacobins' absolute power and Chabot's clandestine agenda. The Société des Amis Réunis, acting as the Jacobin enforcement arm, began a campaign of calculated intimidation and assassination. It wasn't the public guillotine, but a far more insidious threat. Remember the chilling fact that during the height of the terror, over 70% of denunciations leading to arrest and execution were anonymous, often orchestrated by small, interconnected cells. This is where Chabot's society truly excelled. They infiltrated Girondin networks, spread rumors of royalist sympathies, and even orchestrated public demonstrations to create a climate of fear and accusation. Imagine a deputy, speaking passionately one day, only to be found dead in his chambers the next, a suicide note clutched in his hand, expertly forged. Historians now surmise that the mysterious assassinations of several minor Girondin figures, initially attributed to royalist plots or independent radicals, were likely the work of the Société des Amis Réunis. Their most brazen act, though, was not a single murder, but the meticulous preparation and execution of the purging of the Girondins from the National Convention itself over May 31 to June 2, 1793. While publicly a popular uprising, historical records now suggest Chabot's society played a key, manipulative role, mobilizing armed sans-culottes, directing their anger, and ensuring specific Girondin deputies were targeted for arrest, paving the way for the terrifying ascendancy of the Committee of Public Safety. The Société des Amis Réunis largely dissolved into the general chaos of the Reign of Terror, its purpose fulfilled, its members absorbed into the wider machinery of revolutionary justice. Chabot himself, caught in the very web of paranoia and accusation he helped weave, was arrested in November 1793, accused of corruption and conspiracy, and eventually guillotined in April 1794 alongside Danton. It's a shocking, lesser-known fact that Chabot was one of the first major Jacobin leaders to be denounced by his own party, a testament to the internal purges that consumed the revolution. His secret society, though short-lived, left an indelible, if often overlooked, mark. Its methods of anonymous denunciation, political assassination, and manipulation of public sentiment became frightening precedents. Historians like Albert Mathies and more recently, Michel Vauvel, examining newly unearthed police records and personal correspondence from the period, have painstakingly pieced together the fragments of the Société de Amos Réunis, revealing its true, terrifying scope and its instrumental role in shifting the revolution from reform to terror. They argue that this hidden society was a proto-Stasi, a miniature totalitarian instrument, operating years before such concepts were even named. So, while we often focus on the grand speeches and public executions of the French Revolution, remember the whispers in the dark, the unseen hands pulling the strings. The Société de Amos Réunis reminds us that revolutions are not just fought on battlefields or in legislative halls, but in the shadows, by those who prefer to strike in silence. It's a stark reminder that beneath the noble ideals of liberty and equality, the serpent of secret ambition and calculated terror can always lurk, ready to poison the heart of even the most fervent movements. Don't let history's most fascinating and chilling secrets stay hidden. Follow for more untold tales from the annals of time.